Okay, we begin with former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf back with us. Okay, when you heard the news, the vice president will be visiting the border this Friday, just days ahead of former President Trump. What was your first reaction? Will anything change in the Biden administration's policies?
Well, I don't know that it will change, but my first reaction was it's about time. It's been over 90 days since she was put in charge of this issue, and throughout that time, she has not gone down to meet with DHS, to meet with Border Patrol, to meet with the folks down there along that border. So it's about time that she goes. But to your point in the intro, she's going to the wrong part of the border. She's going to El Paso, which is a metropolitan city along that border. There are illegal apprehensions there, to be sure, but that is not ground zero. It's over almost 800 to 1,000 miles away from ground zero of where this crisis is taking place. So I would say that she's going to the wrong place on the border. But at the end of the day, this will be a visit. Hopefully it's going to be a working visit for the vice president, and it's not going to be border security tourism where she's just touring folks, but she's actually talking to folks and trying to come up with some solutions to the growing crisis down on the border.
So what answers will the vice president have on getting rid of remand in Mexico, getting rid of, policies that stop, catch, and release, their move to stop the border wall? What are the answers going to be?
Well, I don't know that she's going to get any answers. If she asks the men and women of the Border Patrol for their honest answer, she's going to get some honest feedback. She's going to hear that they need an effective border wall system and they need the policies that they had over the last 4 years. So we'll have to see how the trip goes, if it's a staged visit, and whether she's actually going to be able to talk in an open format with Border Patrol agents, with landowners, and with local law enforcement who are having to deal with the historic number of immigrants, illegal immigrants in their facilities and in their communities. That's the type of trip she should have. We'll see where they take her in El Paso and what she actually does.
Politico getting criticized for framing the vice president's visit as, quote, coming amid an unrelenting chorus of criticism from Republicans, and not reporting that it's coming amid an ongoing humanitarian crisis that the vice president has spent the last 91 days pretending does not exist. Yeah. It is a humanitarian crisis. Can you explain why it's a humanitarian crisis?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got historic numbers. So just in the last month alone, 83,000 illegal apprehensions. These are overwhelming numbers that are coming to this border, and we call it a humanitarian crisis because all of these individuals pass through the hands of cartels where they're abused, they're exploited, some cases worse, raped, murdered, and so they're coming to the border in a very vulnerable state. And so it's up to now Border Patrol to take care of them, to house them, to feed them, to process them. And so it becomes a humanitarian crisis because of the sheer number of folks coming. But again, the question is why? Why are we not trying to stop this in the Central America, in the Northern Triangle countries, stop them from making this journey to begin with? And that's what the Biden administration is not interested in doing. And that's
well, they're talking about
problematic.
Forgive me, I didn't mean to talk over you. I'm so sorry. They're talking more about root causes, but people are talking about the fallout of having bad border policies. Let's back up. The Pope is talking about the Pope. He of course he's a humanitarian. He's saying we should have open arms to refugees. The other Border Patrol authorities have been saying the drug and human smuggling cartels control the border. 7 border towns in Mexico, just across U.S. border cities, are the worst in the world for violence, for homicides and murders, worse than what's going on in the Middle East. So the fact that they control the border means that people are getting smuggled in from countries in Asia, like Pakistan and Iran, Yemen. They have to go through the human smugglers who can kill them, who can dragoon them into drug smuggling in order to get into the U.S. That's not the way to do it. They get assaulted, as you point out. Your word on that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is not the way that you have effective border security and you're taking care of those individuals that want to come to the country. We must provide legal pathways to bring them into the country, and we must disencourage or disincentivize them coming into the country illegally, which is what is occurring today. And instead of addressing that problem, to address the illegal behavior, this administration won't do that. Instead, they continue to take steps that are going to continue to incentivize this deadly flow from the cartels that they're using to smuggle and traffic individuals, not only individuals, but also illegal narcotics coming into our country in numbers that we have never seen before. So this is a vicious cycle that the policies of this administration are fueling what I would say is the largest human smuggling chain that we have ever seen in our lifetime.
Well, that's quite a thing to say. I mean, it's expected 2 million will try to illegally cross. That's about the size of Nebraska. We have border towns and mayors of those border towns coming on our show saying that they have to shut down schools because they're getting involved in car chases with criminal illegal aliens who have weapons like knives and guns in their cars. Federal authorities, look at this, the mayhem at the border. Federal authorities seized at the border and U.S. airports at least 100 shipments of unauthorized counterfeit versions of remdesivir, the COVID-19 treatment. They're heading for Mexico. It's coming in from India and places like Bangladesh. Your final word on that. This adds to the mayhem over there, at the border, rather.
Well, absolutely. I think what we're seeing is just an onslaught of, again, illegal smuggling, trafficking, and it's not just people, it's goods like you talked about, medical equipment, it's narcotics, it's everything, because the cartels see an opening here. They see a vulnerability and they see an opportunity to smuggle individuals and contraband across that border in numbers that they have never done before. Cartels today are making millions of dollars a day off of this trade. We've got to stop it. We've got to get back to border security and enforcing our border laws.
Chad Wolf, thanks for joining us. Come back soon. It's good to see you.